Hello, my name is Tolg and I exist, therefore I think too much. I am thinking too much. And, drinking too much. Getting to a point of fugue, which is irresponsible, and I do not condone it. You know, the, war on drugs in the US mentioned consumerism. The war on drugs was a means of providing scarcity to a product so as to make that product more expensive. As though the CIA didn't pump drugs into the public itself. Alcohol was once made illegal, and somehow off the sales of racketeering, we now have entire business structures that use the same business modeling of racketeering, learned through the prohibition. Groups of peoples got to shed immigrant status and poverty through the prohibition era. And so long as they didn't step on toes and grease the right wheels, they then got to shed the title of illegalities, working with illegalities. And now in the US, alcoholism is celebrated, despite it perfectly and absolutely and only being a poison. And I have my reasons for consuming poison, which is exactly why I do not condone it. But it seems to me, I went out to go drink the other day. And I go out too early because, you know, I don't have a means by which I am to keep schedule. There is nothing in life that holds me to waking up or going to sleep at any specific time. Spare other people's schedules and needing to mind it for noise. And so I was waiting for places to open up. And there's this building that I used to be taken to when I was a toddler, and I have very vivid imagery of walking through this building as a toddler. And when I was going to high school, I used to skip half days, the latter half of the day, to just go down to this area of town. So I've spent a lot of time feeling safe in this area. So I'm waiting while staring at what is essentially hanging gardens. And I'm approached by someone who works there. And she says, "You look like you're going through something. You want to talk?" To which I respond, of all the times that I have ever needed help and really wanted someone to talk to, this is the least of them. And it's gotten to a point after 32 years where I realize people say they wanted to help after the window has closed. The opportunity to help has ended. If people have the ability to help, you owe them their ego. They don't help out of altruism. The ones who do help out of altruism feel used, always. The ones who don't help out of altruism feel owed. The ones who need help are then put into a position of feeling like they used someone, or they perpetually owe everyone a debt. So, in a position where you are always needing help, the safest bet is symbiosis. Everybody learns to take advantage of something. You can sell yourself for how you appear, and know that people will use you for how you appear. You can learn to use gossip. Learn who gossips, what to tell them, who they're gonna spread it to. In a position of needing help constantly, the only thing you learn is to be manipulated or to manipulate. And I'm tired. I'm not tired of needing help. Sure, there's been people who are jealous of me being a damsel, but the other part of that is being in distress. You're jealous of needing help. I'm jealous that you went to college and got a degree. Grass is always greener. I'm tired of opportunists. If I were a pull string doll and I had phrases, one of my phrases would definitely be fuck a hype man. I cannot fucking stand people that hype everything, because behind the scenes is anguish. All of the footwork that goes into needing to maintain an image is too much. What I'm tired of is opportunists. If opportunities arise, absolutely jump at it, right? But use a discerning eye, use discernment. Always look a gift horse in the mouth. And I hate the sentiment of never look a gift horse in the mouth. The reason that sentiment exists, you weren't supposed to do it in front of someone. If someone gifted you a horse, you weren't supposed to look at it in front of them, because why you would look a gift horse in the mouth is to see if their teeth are healthy. That would mean that the horse was taken care of, that they could race, essentially, that you could make profit off of breeding them or racing them. If they had unhealthy teeth, unhealthy gums, they weren't taken care of, and you'd probably only get profit from them if you sent them off to make glue of them. To not look a gift horse in the mouth is essentially saying be blind. Accept whatever opportunity comes your way and hope to God you're not getting taken advantage of. And if you are, that's just the way of it. There's a sentiment, being poor, living in poverty, makes you lose money. It's not a sentiment, it's just fact. You spend more on everything. On healthcare, on dentistry, on ways to maintain if you can't afford those. On breaking down, essentially, when everything comes back to bite you. So, I can appreciate an opportunist. I do not respect an opportunist. I know what it is to choose homelessness and depravity instead of 18% interest rate on a loan to help you with college courses dictated for you, and a car and an apartment. What a nice life, however, perpetual debt, right? And I get everybody's saddled with debt. I just had a fear of it from a young age. One of the fights TMI. One of the earlier fights I watched. And I must have some form of an emotional disorder because I just observed it. It doesn't emotionally affect me as much as it logically affects me. Oh, this is what I need to not participate in due to how much it affected them. My mom had this dainty little tin box, painted, beautifully painted. When I was growing up, I think my dad designed the house, and it was very, very 90s, you know. 90s. How do they call bohemian, but classy? Very beautiful mahogany wood everywhere. So it's just this setting, dark green painted walls, mahogany dining table, sitting on a mahogany church pew that they put green crushed velvet seating on, with these crocheted pillows of parrots next to me, and a background of crushed red velvet with a silk back. Gorgeous setting. I'm watching Mom hold this tiny tin box, crying profusely, and my dad takes out these cards. And he sounds angry, and he's cutting them in half. She is crying like she just lost a child. And I grow up knowing those are credit cards, and knowing that she kept getting credit cards, and he was paying them off. And I would go live in shelters after that, after the divorce. And other people, never wanting to take on debt, despite the capacity to have it actually help me, you know, never wanting to be helped to such an extent that the point of living is lost. Then, you know, trying to avoid the pitfalls on this side of the road, you go all the way to the other side of the road and you end up in a pitfall. So, fuck a hype man, but fuck an opportunist, because it creates a system of vulgarity, of vultures, preying on poverty and those in need. Always hoping to find an opportunist. The reason everybody likes Robin Hood. Steal from those who don't need the opportunity but have it perpetually. And somehow society has ended up the exact opposite. Fuck the people that don't have the opportunity. What is the value of life in and of itself? All religion teaches that it is valuable, but humanity doesn't. If you look at U.S. economics, our economy is heavily dependent on debt, on consumer debt. What is life worth? Wasn't it Boebert who spent like millions of dollars on private jet planes after creating a shell company to funnel taxpayer money to pay for a fucking plane? Voted for a man whose only claim to his entire life is bankruptcy. Evading debt collectors. Watching him bankrupt an entire country. Acting like that's not the legacy. Isn't the point to make people lose hope in being alive? There are so many things that I learned in choosing the other pitfall. The freest I have ever felt was when someone had so much control over me, I had no other option than to do what I was told. all the blame wasn't mine. I only needed to figure out how to survive. I am not condoning anything I have ever done. Pretty sure I'm only safe because of people intending goodwill in odd situations and not speaking on the goodwill that they directed towards me, so I can't thank them, but thank you. But what I have learned, even at my lowest, was that art was worth it. Watching the sky is worth it. Taking walks, people watching, observing the patterns. Understanding others was always worth it. People may not always be the best, but they're fun to learn about. There will always be a tomorrow, and you never have the ability to dictate if that tomorrow's going to be better or worse. But it'd be a shame if you missed out on the better parts because you assume everything is going to be hellacious. Even in hell, the sun rises. There's always something worth living for. You just have to look for it.